Hi there, Stampin' Piece friends. Welcome to my Stampin' Piece studio. I'm Mary Knabe, coming to you live on November 20th, 2 p.m. Eastern Time from Westerville, Ohio. Gosh, Thanksgiving here in the U.S. is just a week away, and perhaps you are busy with preparations for your holiday, whether you're traveling or hosting or keeping it simple or having something big and extravagant. I hope it is a wonderful holiday for you. And that in this time of preparation, that you take a little time to pause for some peace, to pause to breathe, to pause to take in the moments and um, experience the joy that comes with each day. And because you're here today, I hope that what I'm about to show you is something that will bring you inspiration, help, and joy in this holiday season. So, I'm going to talk for a moment just about some of our large sentiment stamp sets. For example, Simply Congrats, Happy Birthday, Simple Birthday, and this big thank you. And Stampin' Up's latest addition to these large sentiment stamps is Merry Christmas. And this is what I'm focusing on today. And I'm going to be using this to show you how to create a set of 8 easy and elegant cards very quickly. And using a limited amount of supplies, probably a lot of supplies you already have at home. So let's get started right away. I'm just going to give you a look quickly. These are, I'm going to call them fun size slimline cards. The finished card measures 6 1/4 by 3 1/4 inches. And today I'm using the Season of Elegance Designer Series paper, which comes in these 4 colors. The crumb cake, soft suede, old olive, mossy meadow, pretty peacock, and cherry cobbler real red with gold accents. So just easy and elegant paper to use. Why am I using this? Because I need some Christmas cards, and I have lots of this paper left from last year. It is still current because it carried over, and it's called Season of Elegance. And again, the stamp set I've used is called just Merry Christmas. Real simple to remember. And then each one I embellished a little bit differently. So I'm going to make a set of 8 cards for you to show you how quick and easy this really is using 1 sheet of Designer Series paper. And then I'm also going to show you how to make a coordinating envelope to go with it. So I'm going to start first of all by cutting my Designer Series paper. I'm starting with a 12 by 12 piece of Designer Series paper. Again, this is called Season of Elegance. I'm going to cut it in half at 6 inches. And I'm going to stack mine and cut these all at once. But if you are more comfortable doing one at a time, please do that. If you have the Stampin' Up paper trimmer, I will vouch for this and say our trimmer is excellent for cutting 2 or even 3 sheets of Designer Series paper at once. So I'm cutting these 2 6-inch by 12-inch strips at 3-inch increments. So when I'm finished, make sure they're lined up. When I'm finished, I will have 8 pieces that measure 6 inches by 3 inches. And I'm going to set those aside for now. You're also going to need 8 card bases. And again, I'm calling these fun size slimline cards. Fun size because they're a little bit smaller than the usual slimline cards I show. So I'm calling them the fun size slimline cards, but let me show you how I cut these. So I have a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock in the horizontal position, so long side at the top. I'm going to pull out the arm of my paper trimmer, and I want to cut at 6 1/4 inches. And I'll save this piece for projects later. And then I'm going to turn this and have the long side at the top and cut it 6 1/2 inches. Now, before I take this out, I'm going to just slide it over to 3 1/4 inches and score right there. So my card base is 6 1/4 by 6 1/2 inches, and I've scored it 3 1/4 inch on that long side. And you will need, oops, I need this one more time. You will need 8 card bases. So I have my 8 pieces of DSP, my 8 card bases, and I'm going to right now go ahead and cut the pieces I need for my sentiment, the Merry Christmas stamp, which is rather large. So you're going to start with your 8.5 by 11 cardstock in the vertical position, so short side at top, and you're going to cut at 4 1/4 inches. Now again, I'm stacking my strips and cutting them at the same time. You decide if you want to stack and cut yours or if you want to cut them individually. But what you're going to do is cut these at 2 1/4 inch increments. So they're just the right size for that Merry Christmas stamp. And what do I have here? 2, 4, 6. And one more time at 2 1/4 inch will give me 8. Okay, 8 pieces of 4 1/4 by 2 1/4 inch cardstock. And now I'm ready to make my 8 cards. I'm going to first do my stamping. So I'm going to stamp each of these with the Merry Christmas stamp in Old Olive. Okay, Old Olive is what I'm using. And really for this piece of DSP, you could use Old Olive or Mossy Meadow. Either one would look nice with it. One. And I know I need 8 of these. 2. If you already do not have the Stampin' Pierce mat, I would suggest you get it. The reason being, starting this month, Stampin' Up! Is going to be transitioning away from red rubber stamps and going to all photopolymer stamps. Photopolymer stamps are the ones that you can see through as opposed to the red rubber. So we're going to be having all of these. And you just get better stamped images when you have some kind of cushioning underneath. And this Stampin' Pierce mat really does the job well. It's just a few dollars. I want to say $6. If you have a crafty friend, if you have one but a crafty friend doesn't, what a nice inexpensive gift the Stampin' Pierce mat would make. And I'm trying so hard to keep my head out of the viewing frame when I'm stamping. You know I like to look over the top of my stamping, but I'm trying so hard to keep my head out of the viewing frame so my camera doesn't go wonky. I've repositioned my camera, so I think I'm finally getting the hang of where all my settings need to be and where my camera and my focus need to be. So that's a good thing. Sure and steady progress, right? Okay, so now I'm ready to put these cards together. I'm going to score all of my card bases with my bone folder. Another staple in your paper crafting room or your paper crafting desk, workspace, arsenal, supplies, whatever you want to call it. It just gives us a nicer, sharper fold crease, more professional looking crease, really. It's also especially helpful if you are making 3D items where you have lots of folds. Tony Shaw, I'm reading your comment here. I'm so excited for you. Doing a journal and perhaps getting some monthly classes going. That is awesome. I think the journals are a lot of fun. They're quick, they're easy, they're limited supplies, and you can customize them to be whatever you want or need, whether they be for yourself or someone else or to give as gifts. And so many people are journaling for so many different reasons. Gratitude, prayer, travel, dreams, wishes. What else? Health journals even. I think I said travel. Inspirational quotes. If you know somebody very funny that loves to tell jokes, they can have a joke journal. Just about anything you can think of. Now, I said I chose the Season of Elegance Designer Series paper just because I have so much. If this is a paper that you really, really want, it is still available. Go to stampinpiece.com/shop SU for shop Stampin' Up. And you'll find it in the online store, but you can use any papers that you have. And I know all of you have plenty of paper. Because I'm just like you. Isn't that funny how we connect over stamps, ink, and paper? But sometimes it's always nice to purchase new things, but sometimes it's also nice and very gratifying to use supplies you have. Use them up, and then it makes buying new even more exciting because there's no more guilt with it. And that's what I'm trying to do this holiday season. Use up papers and supplies that I have for my cards and decorations and gift tags and all that. So for the cards I've made today, and I've been doing this morning, and I've already made, let's see, a set of 24, no, a set of 16. I have another set of 8 to finish simply because I'm embossing the sentiment. I'll show you that in a moment. And then so when I'm finished 8 times 4, I'll have 32 cards made. And the only thing I purchased to make these was the Merry Christmas stamp. I'm going to adhere my sentiments with dimensionals because dimensionals just make cards more fun. Are any of you dimensional junkies like I am? Nearly every card I make, I won't say every, but nearly every card or project scrapbook page I make uses dimensionals in some way. These cards are so easy that I have a feeling some of you are sitting there cutting your DSP and cutting your card bases during this demonstration. Kudos to you if you are. I'm one that typically watches and then follows up with my creating or making later. But I know some of you are always Johnny on the spot and working as I'm demonstrating, which is pretty cool. For those of you watching the replay later, thank you very much for watching and tuning in. I appreciate all my viewers, whether you are watching live or on replay. So I was gone last week in Las Vegas, and I want to say I had like 14,000, maybe 800, not quite 800 followers here on my YouTube channel. And I was hoping to get to 15,000 in those few days I was gone. Didn't quite happen, but the number did rise. I think today I'm about 14,891 or 896. So if you are not currently a subscriber to Stampin' Peace with Mary Knabe on YouTube, I would love if you would subscribe. And also, if you're new or a current subscriber, I would love for you to share this channel. It's always my goal to reach more and more people with my creative demonstrations, because we all need some creative time in our life. All need some creative time. I don't know about you, but my creative time, and again, this is my job, as you've heard me say before, but and a lot of times I get bogged down with other tasks, writing, placing orders, writing blog posts, posting on Facebook, blah, blah, blah. But it's the creative portion that really brings me peace and joy, kind of removes me from all the chaos in the world and in life in general. And I think we all need that. That's a gift we give ourselves. This dimensional is kind of sticking out on the edge. But think of your creative time as a gift you give to yourself. Some therapy and escape from stress. And don't let your crafting get stressful. Crafting should be fun and should bring you happiness and a good sense of accomplishment too. Doesn't it feel good when you have a project and you get it all done? I know for me it does. And this is one of those things. You can have a set of 8 cards made in a very limited amount of time. Now, to finish these off, I could do lots of things. I've got ribbons here for bows. Pretty. Here's another one that would be really, really pretty. I believe both of those are still available. I have these low profile dots, which are current, gold and petal pink. And then I also have these neutrals adhesive back sequins, which are kind of fun. And I think I'm going to go ribbons on these, or at least a few of them. And maybe the others I'll add some of those pretty sequins. Lori Zock, I'm so happy to hear that. It's going to be a keeper in your book. Awesome. Or in your stash, I should say. How do you all keep your ideas? Do you have like a sketchbook? Do you put them in files on your computer or your phone? Do you just take pictures? What do you do to keep track of your card sketches and layouts and ideas? I'm curious. This ribbon is very pretty. On one side, there's really not a right and a wrong side, but one side is more mossy meadow with gold shimmer. And then the other side is definitely more gold. Let me show you what I mean. So here's that mossy meadow with the shimmery gold side. And here's the opposite side, which is very gold, right? Very gold. Gwen, thank you. I'm so glad you like them. Easy and elegant is what I call these cards. And the elegance really comes from not anything I'm doing so much, but the paper itself. That Season of Elegance Designer Series paper. I think that metallic gold always creates a sense of elegance. And easy, because it's taking me just a short amount of time to make this set of 8 cards. I'm going to do one more bow. Oh, no, I'm probably not going to do one more bow with that. I suppose I could tie a knot, though. That's one way to use up my ribbon to the end. That's what I'll do. If you're somebody who doesn't like tying bows, you can still add ribbon just by making a simple knot. Okay, and then the rest I'll use embellishments on. So keep things moving along here. I'm going to use my mini glue dots, just one mini glue dot behind the knot of the bow will work just fine. Okay, if your bow covers the letters slightly, everybody's still going to be able to read that sentiment. I'm going to use these 2 knots of ribbon the same way as I'm using the bows and in the same space. See, that looks pretty too. A little more simple. So again, if you're somebody who does not like tying bows, the knot trick works just as well. before I move on to the embellishments for these last three, let me show you my trick here. This is a little hack I learned a long time ago. You know, sometimes you drop the roll. I don't keep mine in the box. I don't know why. It's just less clunky for me. But heaven forbid you drop the roll and it goes rolling across the floor, whatever, and you don't want all your glue dots exposed. So I just tie a little bit of ribbon around it, and then I can move it as I need to get to the glue dots. But if I drop it, which I seem to be dropping things a lot lately, I guess it's the tremor in my hands, then I don't have to worry about that bolt of glue dots going everywhere. And then for these, I'm going to go ahead and use these gold low profile dots. I love these. And when I say low profile, you know what I mean, right? They're super thin. Can you see that? I'm trying to show you on the camera. Can you see how thin they are? They're amazing. So no worries about these going through the mail or things like that. It's all good. Oops. Push a little more putty out. There we go. Three is always a nice number for adding embellishments, an odd number. And there I have my 8 cards completed, okay? And like I said, they're quick, they're easy, they're elegant because of the paper and the ribbon and embellishments I've chosen. 1 stamp set, 1 piece of designer series paper, my 6 card bases, and then 1 sheet of cardstock cut for my sentiments. Easy peasy, right? Now some of you, okay, I didn't get my head in the camera that time, did I? But the camera moved. I don't think I did. Anyways, easy peasy cards. Seriously. Come on, camera. Quit floating. But what I want to show you next is how to make some quick and easy envelopes for these fun size slimline cards. And again, the finished cards are 6 1/4 by 3 1/4 inches. So I need an envelope to accommodate this. Now let me show you. Every time I need a certain size envelope, and I tried to be consistent with my slimline cards, things like that, but sometimes you just need a different size. I always go and Google envelope sizes. And today I thought, why am I Googling this every time? Why don't I just print a chart out? So I found this one from the Athens Paper Company. And what I'm going to suggest to you, and there's different types of envelopes based on the closure and all that. I'm concerned with the size. So what I've discovered is this 6 3/4 inch size. So the finished envelope size or closed envelope size is 6 1/2 by 3 5/8, which would definitely accommodate this. And I will, in the description here on for this YouTube video, as well as my blog post, stampinpiece.com, I will include a link if you would like to purchase those size 6 3/4 envelopes. However, I think making envelopes, especially ones that coordinate with your cards, is a lot of fun, and it's really quite easy. Here is one I made also with the Season of Elegance designer series paper to go with one of my cherry cobbler cards. Okay, I did use the reverse side just not, so it wasn't quite as busy with the gold. I can either write in black marker, or I can put a piece of cardstock or a mailing label on here, okay, that I can use to address the envelope. So let me show you how this is. Oh, and I should tell you, because the last time I showed the larger slimline card, I had a template drawn out for you, but it wasn't really pretty. So I had Andrea make one for me, and I've added it to that blog post. However, I went ahead and had her also make a template with directions for this size, for an envelope for this size card, as well as a little bit larger slimline card that I use as a cash card when I'm giving cash. So perhaps next week I'll show you the cash card, because that's fun to make too. But so now you have 3 templates with directions for the 3 different sizes of slimline cards that I use. And I did post those to stampinpiece.com yesterday. They are in PDF form, so they'll be easy for you to save and use to print off if you want. Okay, so let me move these cards out of the way. I'll need my trimmer again. And these keep falling over. So this is 12 by 12 cardstock. You can use either side. I don't think it really makes a difference. You choose. I'm going to be using the lighter side of this two-tone cardstock. It's Old Olive. And I need to start with a piece that measures, let me get here, 8 3/4 of an inch. Okay, 8 3/4 by 8 1/4. And I am following my template and directions exactly as I've prepared for you. Okay, so just so you know that. So then, so I've got my 8 3/4 side and my 8 1/4. On this longer side, I'm going to score at 3/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to score at 7.5 inches. Then I'm going to turn it to the vertical position. And when I turn it to the vertical position, I want the 3/4 score line at the bottom, so that narrower space at the bottom. And I want the 7.5 inch score line at the top. And then, and you want to do that simply for the sake of directions, okay? For the directions to flow step by step and you're not getting confused. So 3/4 of an inch score line at the bottom, 7.5 inch score line at the top. And then I'm going to score at 2 inches and 5 3/4 inch on the short side. Okay, it's vertical position, short side at the top. 2 inches and 5 3/4. Now before I cut or fold all the score lines, I want to cut away my 4 corners. And just like always, when we're making a box or an envelope, I suggest you cut just outside the score lines. So cut at an angle. Whoops, I want you to see it this way. Cut at an angle just outside the score lines that are there. Cutting outside the score lines gives you a much nicer folds and closure to your envelope. So I'm going out maybe not even 1/4 of an inch probably. I wouldn't go more than 1/4 of an inch. And up to the point at where the 2 score lines intersect. Okay. And then, and I want to show you the comparison to the template. I'm laying out my piece exactly like the template. I've got the narrower side at the top, wider side at the bottom, narrow, wide. I've got this small end flap on my left, larger end flap on the right. And then you're going to, let's see, here I am. The next step is to flip over and fold the top flap down. I'm going to go ahead and give all of these folds a nice crease. Okay, so you're going to fold that larger flap down. Remember, because we flipped over, that larger flap is now at the top. You're going to add a thin line of glue to the edge of that smaller flap and press it close. And the reason I say fold the larger down first and then the smaller is then you get your seam right in the center. It just looks nice and neat. Okay. And then on the small end, I'm just going to add a narrow line of glue. And I'm going to press that down. Got a little bit of glue seeping out. When that dries, I will clean it up with my adhesive eraser. I buy these on Amazon. They last forever. I'll include a link for that in the blog post along with that envelope link. And then the last thing I do is add a piece of tear-in tape to my larger flap so that when I'm ready to use this card, I don't have to go searching for glue or my tear-in tape or adhesive. It's all ready to go. All I have to do is peel off that backing, put my card in, and seal it shut. And then it's ready to be addressed. Again, I feel comfortable using a black marker, addressing the envelope on this light shade of green. You can also add a piece of cardstock to address it, plain white paper, an address label, plain address label, something like that. But I love using, here, let me pull this one in. I love using the custom envelopes. And if you sell cards at all, people especially love custom envelopes when you are selling cards, whether you're stamping on them, like our usual A2 size envelopes, or if you are making custom envelopes for maybe a less popular size or a different size of card. Okay, so lots of things here. Oops. Hold on one second. There we go. So lots of things here. You saw how to make 8 quick, easy, and elegant cards using 1 sheet of designer series paper. I used 1 sentiment, 1 size card base, super easy, super fast, super fun, stress-free. So if some of you are worrying about, are you going to get your cards out in time? Do you have enough cards made? This demonstration is here to help you with that. Okay, I don't want you stressing over sending handmade cards. You then also learned how to make a custom envelope for our fun size slimline cards. And I will post this template for the envelope to stampinpiece.com when all of this gets posted there, which will be in the next, I don't know if it'll be by the end of the day. I'm trying for that. Could be tomorrow. But in the meantime, if you've ever made slimline cards or cash cards with me, I've always used the same 3 sizes. And now you have a resource and a template with directions for all 3 of those custom size envelopes. And that you can find right now on stampinpiece.com. And it was posted yesterday, November 19th. So that's already there for you. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me scroll real quick and see. Mary Beth, thank you. I'm so glad you like my tutorials. Copies and keep in folders of all your ideas. This is a great stamp, this Merry Christmas. Merry Stampers is the name of my team, so I'm saying Merry, and all I can think of is Stampers, Merry Stampers. But the Merry Christmas stamp. Oh, good. So many of you enjoyed the cards. Wonderful. I will see you next week on Tuesday. Oh, I should tell you that Tuesday is the 25th, and for the first time ever, Stampin' Up! Is having Black Friday deals. This is brand new to us. It's not clear yet, or I should say, I'm sure the company knows. They have not told demonstrators yet exactly what is on sale, but there are select items, including select cardstock, and items will vary in discounts, probably from 10 to up to 40% off. Some adhesives will be on sale. I feel like there was one other category, but I will be doing a blog post about the sale, and I will be sending out my email newsletter, including information about the Black Friday deals. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. In fact, I almost placed an order for some cardstock yesterday, and then I thought, oh, I should wait and see what colors of cardstock will be on sale, or what type of cardstock will be on sale next week before I place that order. Anyways, have a great weekend. Thank you once again for joining me and supporting me in my small business Stampin' Piece with Mary Knabe. If you like this demonstration, be sure to watch other videos here on my YouTube channel or on stampinpiece.com, and be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.